Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Tuesday, the 26th day of August. It's cooled off and nice and pleasant outside around the state this week, but nothing's cooled off inside the auction barns. Back to playing our broken record of record prices. And boy, we got some high quotes to give to you today. Jumping right into those, of course, most of the auctions around the state today still going on. They're not done yet as receipts have picked up a bit with the cooler weather. Some stick-out sales from around the circuit today. 17 head of 502-pound steers at F&T Livestock Market in Palmyra, $518. Interstate Regional Stockyards in Cuba sold 38 head of 672-pound steers at $405. They also had 30 head of 720-pound steers at $398. Kingsville Livestock Auction, they sold 138 head of 795-pound steers today at $380 and a quarter. Lolly Brothers Livestock Market had 29 head of steers, 814 pounds at $362. And then back to Kingsville, 2 loads of 866-pound steers at $359. Taking a look at some heifer sales, Lolly Brothers Livestock Market had 5 full loads, 400 head of heifers, from $651 to $672. All 5 loads brought $390.10. At Kingsville, they had 146 head of 714-pound heifers today at $368. Box beef cutout values were sharply higher. Choice closed the day up $6.48 at $414.97. Select was up $6.84 at $392.22. Those values based on 57 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $22.75. Negotiated feedlot trade for the week, still basically at a standstill, a few hundred heads scattered around, but nothing to establish any kind of a market yet this week. Last week, 79,192 head. The weighted average price on the live sales at $243.85, dress sales at $386 even. Futures markets today, all the livestock commodities closed up fairly significant. Live cattle for August up $227 at $242.50. October $238.20 up $137. December $239.92 up $187. August feeder cattle at $363.22 up $237. September $365.05 up $315. And October $363.77 up $302. Lean hogs for October up $2.02, $93.42. December $85.92 up $117, and February $88.12 up $62. That CME cash feeder cattle index, based on an 800-pound steer through the auction barn up through the 12-state feeding region, up another $1.25 at $359.17. Turning our attention to the grain markets, things were fairly quiet today in the grain complex. Soybeans at the elevators around the state steady to a penny higher. Wheat was 2 cents higher. Corn steady to a penny lower. Corn bids in St. Louis, 401 to 404. Kansas City 397. Soybean bids in St. Louis 1021. Kansas City 964. Wheat bids in St. Louis 475 to 482. On the board of trade, September corn 1 3/4 lower, 387.5. December at 409.5, down 2 3/4. March at 426.5, down 3 1/4. September beans were up 3 1/4, 1028 3/4. November up 1 3/4, 1049.5. January 1069 1/4, up 1 1/2. Wheat for September 2 3/4 cent higher, 509.5. December 531 3/4 up 2, March at 549.5 up 2 1/2. Soybean meal for September 297.20 a ton. That was up $1.50. Soybean oil for September down $1.55 a hundredweight at $52.76. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Tuesday. This is Tony Hancock.